All right, let's get started. What's up, guys? If you're watching this video, that means you are booked on the I'm with the DJ Alaska cruise. This is going to be information on that cruise presented by me, Alex, the crazy travel guy. First things first, welcome and thanks for watching. This video should be about 10 minutes long, and this is what we will be covering today. We're going to start off cruising with NCL. Norwegian Cruise Lines is a unique cruise line, so we'll cover what's different and unique about them. Information on airfare, hotel and accommodations, transportation, and then last but not least, payments. Let's get started and jump right in. Cruising with Norwegian Cruise Lines. So, we're going to be cruising on the Norwegian Bliss on 5/5/19, returning on 5/12/19. It is an Alaska 7-day cruise. But keep in mind, we are stopping in Victoria, Canada. Victoria, Canada is actually one of my favorite ports, and we will be stopping there as well, in addition to Alaska. And then we have one day, it's not a port, but it's called Glacier Bay. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world, and we're going to spend one day just cruising around Glacier Bay. All right, let's start with the most important thing to do, and that's creating your NCL account. You're going to visit www.ncl.com, and once you create that account, it's going to tell you what to do and why. There is a lot of important information within your NCL account. I recommend doing that sooner than later. You will need your confirmation number to add your cruise to your account once it's created, and eventually that's where you're going to book shore excursions, dining options, entertainment options, and spa treatments as well, and we'll touch base on that in just a little while. The most important reason why you must create this account is it is where your online check-in is completed. You are required, I repeat, you are required to complete an online check-in prior to departure. You cannot cruise without completing your online check-in, and that is done within that account. All right, freestyle cruising. This is what makes Norwegian Cruise Lines unique. It's what I love about Norwegian Cruise Lines. You get to do what you want and when you want to do it. So traditionally on a cruise ship, there is a dining time and a show time where basically everybody on the ship is going to one main dining room to eat dinner at one of two times, either early or a late dining. Well, Norwegian Cruise Lines does not do that. They do the complete opposite. So basically, instead of having one main dining room, there are multiple restaurant options, and they're spread throughout the whole ship. Same thing with entertainment. There are multiple entertainment options spread throughout the whole ship, and you can visit any one of these entertainment options or any one of these restaurants at any time. So the restaurants is just like it is here on shore. So let's jump into that, and I'll explain them a little further. First things first, you can start booking dining, entertainment, shore excursions, and spa treatments starting at 120 days prior to sailing. That's also the PIF date. That stands for paid in full date. That's when your final balance is due. So January 5th is when you are able to start booking reservations for dining, entertainment, excursions, and spa treatments. So let me elaborate on all these a little further real quick. The dining options on board, your food options, there are plenty of restaurants on board the Norwegian Bliss that are included in your cruise fare, and you can go to them whenever you want, however you want. They work like a normal restaurant. You walk in, hey, we're a party of 5, and they will seat you at a table. Typically, there's no wait. If there is, it's very, very short. Now, in addition to those included restaurants, there's what Norwegian calls specialty dining. Now, specialty dining restaurants are typically a little bit more upscale or include some sort of entertainment in the meal. So what I mean by that, for example, is like a Japanese steakhouse where they actually grill and cook it right in front of you. That's going to be a specialty dining option, which means there's an additional fee to eat at those restaurants. Now, if you booked and chose a promotion where specialty dining is included in your cruise fare, and that depends on each individual booking individually, then you typically have a number of nights that you can eat in a specialty dining restaurant at no charge. Most of the time, it's 3 out of the 7 nights. Once again, that's different depending on when and how you booked your cruise. Now, in reference to entertainment, same concept. There is plenty of entertainment on board that's free and that's included in the cruise fare, but there are a few things that do cost a little extra. They're totally worth it once again. For example, on that will be like the go-karts, laser tag, and there's one or two other options that have an additional fee, but is totally worth it in my opinion. Now, excursions, you'll be able to browse those online once again in your NCL online account. You'll book them directly in your online account once they open up 120 days prior. You must be paid in full to book any of these. And I highly recommend booking your excursions through the cruise line. You can save about 15% if you book them yourself through a third party or on shore at each port. But there is a big risk in doing that. I do not recommend booking your own excursions. Go through the cruise line because if there's ever a cancellation or a delay in that excursion, whatever the case may be, the cruise line is 100% responsible. They make sure the cruise ship does not leave that port without you. Where if you book it on your own for whatever reason, your excursion runs late, the cruise ship will not wait for you. They will wave goodbye as they depart to the next port. They have a strict schedule and they stick to that schedule. Now, if you book your excursion once again through the cruise line and for whatever reason it does fall behind, you have nothing to worry about. That cruise ship is required to wait for you. Spa treatments, once again, I highly recommend visiting the spa on board this ship. I hear nothing but phenomenal things. My wife and I always visit the spa and get a couples massage on every cruise. Highly recommend it. You can start booking those treatments at 120 days prior. That's pretty much it. If you have any further questions on any of these things I'm covering, by the way, you can always reach out to me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I can answer any questions you may have. Let's move on to airfare. Okay, so due to personal preferences and scheduling needs, we will not be booking a group flight. Everybody is going to be responsible for booking your own airfare. The optimum time in booking airfare for the best price, they say, is between 70 and 100 days prior to your departure. Although I personally like to book my airfare even further in advance than that, just personal preference. Flight pricing varies and is always subject to change, even within the same day. So I highly recommend checking flights frequently and just whenever you see a good deal, jump on it. I can tell you that the average price per person from Southern California to Seattle is going to be around $250. Now, I have seen crazy specials where you can get round trip for $99. It's rare, but it happens. And then I have seen flights as high as $300, $350. So keep an eye on airfare, and if you see a crazy deal, please let me know, and I check it frequently. If I see a crazy deal, I will definitely inform all of you as well. Arrive a day before, at least 1 day before. Trust me on this one. It is physically possible to leave Southern California early morning on the 5th, get to the airport in Seattle, get to the pier, and straight on the ship. I don't recommend this. If you are for whatever reason delayed in your flight or your flight gets canceled, it makes it very difficult to catch that cruise ship before it leaves. Remember, they're on a schedule and they will leave with or without you. Arriving the day before not only gives you the ability to have that extra time, God forbid there is a delay in the flight, but it also gives you time to explore Seattle. Seattle is a phenomenal city, and I highly recommend taking an afternoon and evening in Seattle and just enjoying it, spending the night at a hotel, and then next morning you have a nice amount of time to get breakfast and make your way to the ship. We will cover accommodations here in just a second. Book a late afternoon flight if you're flying out the day we return. Okay, so let me explain this. The day that we get back on the 12th, most people do fly home that same day. It's absolutely okay to do so because you're going to be off the ship by 10 a.m. But I recommend booking a flight in the late afternoon, early evening. That way, if there are any delays debarking, you have plenty of time to get to the airport and catch your flight. You can do an early afternoon flight. You will be rushed getting off the ship, and there is a chance that you might not make it, so I don't recommend it. But if you absolutely have to, you could catch an early afternoon flight, but I recommend late afternoon, early evening, if not even late evening. That way you can get off the ship, get lunch, explore Seattle a little bit more, take your time to the airport, and then catch your flight home. The airport, just for information reasons, is about 30 minutes away from the port. So it's a 30-minute drive without traffic from the airport to the port. Keep that in mind for your accommodation and transportation needs. All right, on that note, let's jump into hotel accommodations. This is actually one of my favorite parts. Book your hotel room sooner than later. I already have mine booked. They do book quickly, so I highly recommend booking your room. The nice thing is, most hotels only require a credit card on file to book your room with no deposit necessary. A little bit more I want to add on that. Typically, you can make changes to your reservation and cancel at any time without any fees or penalties. Up until 3 days prior to your arrival. Obviously, check with your booking before doing so, but most of the time that's the case. The two closest hotels to the port are the Edgewater and the Seattle Marriott Waterfront. You will literally be right next to the ship. I can't stress that enough on these two properties. Let me show you. So here's a map, and there's Pier 66 with the Norwegian Bliss docked, and then the Edgewater is literally right next to it, and right across the street is the Seattle Marriott Waterfront. I personally am staying at the Seattle Marriott Waterfront. Now, these two hotels, the average cost is about $300 a night. But there are other hotels in the area, not as close to the port though, that are a little less expensive. They run about $180. You're going to be more inland. It's not going to be waterfront. I highly recommend these two hotels for many, many reasons. The Edgewater is actually, on a side note real quick, is really cool. If you get one of their balcony rooms that's bayside, you can literally almost stick your arm out and touch the ship as it docks. It's that close, and you can watch it dock the morning that we leave. It's really cool. Okay, by the way, you can get a great view from the Seattle Marriott waterfront as well. It's just not as close. Transportation. So you'll see Uber and Lyft, their logos there at the top. That's because Uber and Lyft is the most popular way to get from the airport to the port. The fare is about $35 to $45 each way. You can take a taxi, and that'll run you about $50 to $55. The good news is if you stay at one of the recommended hotels that we just mentioned, there's no need for transportation from the hotel to the pier the day that we leave, because the pier is literally right outside your window. So that's pretty sweet. Once debarked, so upon our return, once you debark from the ship, if heading straight to the airport, Uber, Lyft, or a taxi will be available. So that's easy. All right, guys, payments. As a reminder, the final balance of your cruise must be paid in full no later than 1/4/19. I recommend paying it prior to that, but that is the latest before your reservation is subject to cancellation. So you want to make sure you are paid in full by January 4th, 2019. On January 5th, 2019 is when the booking window opens for everything else. Excursions, dining, entertainment. That's where you can log in online and start adding things to your reservation. You must be paid in full, obviously, to do that. You can make a payment to your cruise at any time and in any dollar amount. The easiest way is going to be by visiting the website. That's my website, www.crazytravelguy.com. You will not be able to make payments on ncl.com. You can only add things to your bookings. But all your payments will be made on the Crazy Travel Guy website, which is right there listed on the screen. You're going to click on Cruise Payment at the bottom of the homepage and just type in your info. It's very easy. Or you can always give me a call directly. My cell phone is also there, 951-970-0092, and I'd be more than glad to process any payments for you. Now, don't forget, gratuities will automatically be added to your cabin statement. So, I can tell you right now that the staff on board these cruises are just beyond phenomenal. I don't know how they do it, but they remember everybody's name, and the customer service on NCL is just amazing. So they pretty much live off of gratuities. So I think it's easy to just have them added to your statement, and then you're done. Now, if for whatever reason you want to cancel those and leave cash for gratuities, you can go to guest services on board, cancel the automatic gratuities, and give those out yourself. Totally up to you. You can do that however you would like. Well, guys, thank you so much for staying through this video, and hopefully I answered some questions you may have or gave you some information that you never knew you needed. But if you do come up with any other questions along the way, please reach out to me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at the information listed there on the screen. Thank you so much once again. Ciao for now.